Hello, Savage and Sixers. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I did. I know for sure. I got a lot of stuff done, and still got my workout in, which I crushed. So I'm feeling good. Life is good. I'm busy, but I'm grateful to be busy. I wanted to first off do the draw for the last challenge because I remember I did the one for the disconnect challenge, and then I had you guys all five of you guys actually entered, and I had you guys answer a bunch of questions, and then post some videos, and also post some articles. So I wanted to make sure that I reward you guys for doing that. Five entries in total. Number one, we've got Shane. So put that into the hat. Shane entered. James Mitchell entered. I'm gonna put that in. Chad Hollinger entered. Jack Foster. And Todd Piersdorf entered. So I'm gonna put him into the hat. I'm gonna mix them around with my hands a little bit. Got my eyes closed. Hold on, wait for it, wait for it. Winner of the challenge is Todd. Try to see it. It's terribly written. Todd Piersdorf. So, Todd, I'll be sending you a prize pack from bodybuilding.com for doing your entry. So, congratulations to you, and thank you so much, everybody who entered. It's interesting because I remember in the early days of Savage and Six, I used to try to get the guys enrolled. Like we're just not as communicative about I guess about our feelings. I'm not saying we're not as emotional, but I'm just saying that we communicate differently than women. So sometimes it's um, hard to drag things out of people, but that's not the case with this challenge. And every challenge it gets a little bit better. And I really am appreciative of the community that we're building together and the way that you guys all cheer each other on. I think that that's really really awesome. So. Thanks for all you guys do, and thanks for your posts. I do appreciate them in the group. I always make sure that I catch up on them. I sometimes don't get to them right away, but I always make my way there eventually. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about why you should eat more dark chocolate. And I know that's kind of crazy, right? Saying, hey, Matt, you're supposed to be our trainer. You're telling me to eat dark chocolate. But um, I kind of, it's something that Senya and I used to do a lot. We used to make our own chocolate when we were in Canada quite a bit. It's something that we haven't gotten to out here, which we should, because I got a pretty good reminder of that when Paul and James came down. They went to go visit a chocolate farm. They came back with a big bag of beans, and we all had a conversation about how chocolate was so good for you. And I kind of had, I mean, I knew the basics. I knew that there was flavonoids. I knew it was high in antioxidants. But I went and I kind of snatched up a couple of articles on it, which I wanted to review with you guys. I made some notes about it, but I want to talk to you about why your trainer would tell you to eat more dark chocolate. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a really, really simple recipe for making your own chocolate. Um, and it's not real chocolate, but it's really, really good and it's beneficial and it'll save you in a pinch if you can work it into your macros. So first of all, benefits of chocolate, just to give you the kind of the Coles notes, right? Protection from disease causing free radicals, potential cancer prevention. We'll talk about all these a little bit more in depth. It increases your heart health and actually helps circulation within your body. It's known for increasing your cognitive function. It's really good for blood pressure and it's a blood sugar aid. It actually reduces your blood sugar and it's also extremely rich in antioxidants to the point that not a lot of other things even have close to the same amount of profile. It's in the top 10 superfoods in terms of antioxidant profile overall. So I wanted to give you a fun fact. The average American consumes roughly 12 pounds of chocolate each year. Um, I would probably think that I'd be above that grade, but it's interesting to think that on a yearly basis, everybody in the U.S. consumes about 12 pounds of chocolate. That's a lot of chocolate for you to sit down and weigh that all out. Uh, so just to clarify as well, I want to talk to you guys and just say, like, I'm not talking about milk chocolate. Like, if you're going to the store and you're getting a Snickers bar and you're trying to convince yourself that in some sort of way that's healthy, it's not healthy. It's high in fats, high in sugar, causes a massive insulin response. But dark chocolate, and particularly dark chocolate that's like 70 to 95%, that's the chocolate that's the most beneficial, and because it's got the highest percentage of cocoa. So I'm going to go over this article. I don't have everything in the top of my head, but it brings up some really, really interesting points here. So Protection from disease-causing free radicals, of course, right? Free radicals are unbalanced compounds that are caused by cellular processes inside of your body um, that typically fight against environmental stress that we're exposed to on a daily basis. And these free radicals can actually cause genetic mutations and cancers. And antioxidants are the compounds that science believes currently actually neutralize some of those free radicals and prevent our body from being damaged. So, um, one of dark chocolate's most impressive attributes is its high antioxidant content. Uh, the two main antioxidants that are found in dark chocolate are flavonoids and polyphenols. And dark chocolate is extremely high in polyphenols and flavonoids. Um, Cocoa has actually been shown to have the highest content of flavonoids and polyphenol than red wine and tea. I know you guys have probably heard of the studies before saying that a glass of red wine is extremely beneficial because of the polyphenols. And actually, interestingly enough, dark chocolate has a higher concentration of polyphenols than red wine, as well as a lot of teas that you're going to consume. Because it has a high concentration of antioxidants as well, it's known to have potential cancer fighting, cancer preventing effects. So, the Journal of American Cancer Institute has endorsed it as such, and it's basically saying that research has come out, but they're not 100% sure if it necessarily plays a role in cancer prevention. However, the emerging studies indicate that there is definitely a relationship, and science seems to indicate that that's quite likely a possibility. So, cancer can, chocolate can actually prevent and fight cancer. Dark chocolate, right? Dark chocolate also improves your heart health. So, flavonols, as we spoke about, right, one of the main antioxidants inside of dark chocolate, have been shown to help heart health by by helping to lower blood pressure and improving blood flow to the heart as well as the brain. So, it's also been found to have a positive effect on cognition. So, they studied in 2015. There was a study of health of people for over the course of 11 years. And one of the things that study documented was that cumulative evidence suggests that higher chocolate intake is associated with a lower risk rather of future cardiovascular events. So the research is still out on that, but among subjects who consumed the most chocolate, 12% developed or died of cardiovascular disease, as compared to 17.4 of those who didn't eat chocolate. So that's not really giving you a free license to go out and eat a chocolate bar every day. It just says that over a lengthy study in a lengthy period of time, people who were known to consume more dark chocolate seem to have lower rates of cancer. Now, I always speak about correlation and causation. Is that causation, meaning is that caused by eating more chocolate, or is there some sort of behavior within these people that correlates with that? Science hasn't completely proven it, but that's kind of the preliminary findings, which is it's interesting to learn about. Cocoa as well, chocolate is actually good for your overall cholesterol profile due to oleoic, I can't even say this, oleic acid, which is a heart healthy monosaturated fat that's also found prevalently in olive oil. So it's actually beneficial for your overall cholesterol profile, as we spoke about. Cholesterol profile is the ratio of good cholesterol to bad cholesterol. Dark chocolate has a higher ratio of good cholesterol. In 2009, a study published in the Southern Medical Journal looked at the effects of dark chocolate on 28 healthy volunteer subjects. Here's what they found. Dark chocolate's cocoa polyphenols may be involved in cholesterol control. 3-week consumption of polyphenol-rich dark chocolate increased HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol. 15-day consumption of polyphenol-rich dark chocolate resulted in total and LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, decreases of 6.5% and 7.5% respectively, so that's a pretty heavy decrease. 1 week of consuming dark chocolate resulted in a 6% decrease of cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol, and a 9% increase of good cholesterol. So, as we spoke about, better cognitive function is one of the benefits of dark chocolate. And the reason why that is cocoa is associated with flavonols that may be beneficial in conditions with reduced cerebral blood flow, including dementia and stroke, as well as it allows better blood flow from the heart to your brain. So, which is kind of interesting. It makes you smarter. Dark chocolate makes you smarter, which is just one more reason to eat dark chocolate. Um, there's there's also been shown to have a positive effect overall on blood pressure and, interestingly enough, blood sugar. You wouldn't think that eating dark chocolate would help your blood sugar, but typically speaking, dark chocolate is a lot lower in sugar, and a little bit higher in healthy fats. So, it's kind of interesting as well. And as I spoke about before, a ton of antioxidants inside of cocoa. There was a study that was conducted by the Hershey Co. Conflict of interest? I don't know. But it was published in the Chemistry Central Journal, which talked about the total flavanol and polyphenol, as well as the content of antioxidants inside of dark chocolate. And it was actually compared with fruits like acai, cranberry, blueberry, and pomegranate. So that's kind of interesting because those are extremely, extremely healthy foods, and chocolate's right up there beside it. So anyway, I guess what your trainer is telling you to do is eat more chocolate. And you're probably asking me, okay, that's all fine and good, but how am I going to? You guys see that thing? It tried to kill me. But how am I going to get healthy chocolate, right? Of course, you can go to the store and you can purchase, some of the artisanal chocolate. You just want to make sure that it's like 75% chocolate, 75% cocoa or more. But another thing that you can do that Sonia and I used to actually do was we would take we would take a, so what kind of oil we used to use? Coconut oil. So we'd take coconut oil, we'd melt it down, and we would actually mix it with cocoa and with stevia. What's that? Yeah, and sometimes we put protein powder in there with a little bit of sea salt. And then when you mix this stuff all up, you're going to make it, it's not going to turn into a solid texture or anything like that. It's going to be semi-solid. So at room temperature, it tends to melt, but it tastes like chocolate. It's amazing like chocolate. And what we used to do is we would separate the portions. We would find out what the overall content was, do a little bit of math on how much oil we had, figure out the exact macronutrients, and then we would use an ice cube tray. And we would just drop the chocolate into the ice cube tray, and then we would freeze it. So whenever we had a sweet tooth, we knew that we had healthy chocolate in the fridge. And you just, if you're one of those people who can't only have one piece of chocolate, maybe not such a good idea. But if you're somebody who can kind of have a couple of pieces of chocolate and walk away, you're going to find it super satiating. And as we just spoke about, eating chocolate is extremely, extremely benefit. I'm tired, guys. Beneficial for you. So it's something to consider. Anyway, I'm a huge chocolate guy, and when I want some chocolate, that's what we used to do in the past. That's something we should get into. Interestingly enough, Paul actually brought a bunch of cocoa beans back with him, and I believe right now they're grinding them up and they're adding in their stevia and they're adding in their oil at home and they're making batches of chocolate at home. So you can do the same thing. You can find cocoa beans from around the world in certain specialty shops, and if you actually take those cocoa beans and you grind them up yourself, you can make your own cocoa. Which of course is the key ingredient in this chocolate. I believe I mentioned that. If I didn't mention that, make sure you put cocoa in your chocolate. That's where all the good stuff comes from. But if you can make your own cocoa, that's even better because it has a little bit less sodium and you're able to control the portions a little bit better. So that is why I think you guys should eat more chocolate. I hope that you found some value in this. If you're looking at ways to be able to squeeze chocolate in your diet, you can always use MyFitnessPal, figure out what your macro count is, and slide it in there. Just make sure you use stevia. If you're using sugar, you're wasting your time because the effects that it has on blood sugar and the effects that it has on your insulin are wasted. So if you guys feel like doing something and you want to try something out, go make yourself some homemade chocolate and you'll thank me later. Hope you guys are having an awesome night. You guys are knocking it out of the park, and check-ins are coming up. We're only 2 weeks away from the end of this thing, guys. So dig deep and go hard, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.